What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. Y'all, today's day 30. Holy freaking cow! Day 30. How we feeling, ladies? How are we feeling? You know, it has been so fun for me to do this, and it's been such a great, learning opportunity because that's how we learn is through um old, doing new things, pushing through, figuring out our true identity. And each day I did a theme to help women, um, you know, learn something, a little takeaway of what you could be learning through this 30-day challenge. So the challenge was 100 heel elevated squats. Okay. And if you could just do body weight, or you could add some resistance. And I personally learned so much through this too because um, I'll tell you more when this episode starts, but we can't attach our identities to people, things, worldly things. And then when those things are taken away, it could put us in a tailspin. I mean, think about the veterans, okay? People that went to war and then they come back and they had this mission, and they were they tied their whole identity to what they were doing when they were serving, right? That was their purpose. That they received fulfillment out of it. They felt like this was my purpose. I've done that too. Okay. I've done a lot of things in my life, and sometimes we can relate our identity, our true identity, okay, spiritually, our true identity to what we're actually doing. Does that make sense? Like a military person is going to war, and they attach it to that. And then when they get released from service, did you guys know that guys that or women that go to war, if they don't figure out something afterwards, there's a huge number of veterans that commit suicide. And this is why they've attached their identity to serving in war. As mothers, we raise our kids, and we are a wife, and we are a lot of things. For me, I was a single mom, and my daughter gave me purpose, and I lived vicariously through her without really understanding who I am as an individual. Does that make sense? And then I had a son later, and then I was working, and I worked in the corporate banking, for 23 years. And when I left that, it was it was quite a big, what am I, now what? I was excited for a new start, for a transition, but yet I still felt like I just felt off, you know? And so I was still seeking for that identity, to tie myself to an identity, to so people would see my value. Okay, that's what these veterans do. Like, that's where they get their value from, is they think the war. Okay, and then as mothers, we lose our kids. We don't lose them, but we could. I mean, unfortunately, if something happened, okay, we're not going to think like that. We're all going to die one day, but if we attach it to that, a lot of times we just lose ourselves, And when my kids, I became an empty nester a few years ago. My son's like 21. He might be 22 now. But anyway, when he turned 18 and he left, and I was just home alone, I I was like going through, and I moved to Virginia. So I was in Virginia, away from family. My son left. He came back to Utah, and my daughter was already quite older. I had her when I was a lot younger. They're 13 years apart. So I had more time with him, but then when he left, it was like, and then I went through a separation. Okay. And it's like, sometimes we can tie who we are to a person. or a business, or maybe how many followers we have on social media for some, you know what I mean? There's so many things, and hopefully you're getting what I'm saying to you. But something that I've learned is that our true identity, the one that what has been given to us as gifts, isn't tied to external things or people, jobs. You know, there's so much more. And it's like the gifts that we obtain, that we're given through life, through different things that we experience. That's who our true identity is. It's a spiritual thing. It's so deep. It really is. And I think a lot of people don't understand this. So that's what this episode is about. But we're on day 30. We completed this challenge. And you ready to dive in? I hopefully that didn't I didn't lose you on that one. So this one is about the rebirth of identity, who you are in Yahweh. If you don't know Yahweh, that's something else I've learned in the last few years. God, that term God or creator, those are titles, right? But his real name is Yahweh. Jesus's real name is Yahshua. Okay, so who you become through, that's what this is about, who you become through resistance. All right, that's what this particular title is. Today is the declaration, rebirth declaration. You know, it's the end of it, and you know, we're stronger for doing this challenge, right? So let's just say there's this woman, okay? She's strong, she's smart, she's loyal, she's faith-filled, but she lost herself. And she didn't even realize it was happening. This could be you and I. It could be talking about you right now. She attached her identity to a man she was in love with. Could be me. She became what he needed and forgot what she needed. I might get choked up. I don't want to cry. Okay, I'm tough. When he left, she broke. Not because the relationship ended, but because her identity was tied to something temporary. Our kids will one day leave the house. We could go through a divorce, a separation, a loss, a job change. Okay, and after that, she attached her identity to her job. So sometimes we'll replace, that's what people that are addicted to things, right? They'll give up one thing and take on something else. That happens all the time, right? After that, she attached her identity to her job. Maybe this isn't you, but it could be. So you poured yourself into this job, right? So you attached yourself to this title, the paycheck, the productivity. Okay, that's me too. Like I attached myself to, I went all the way to vice president. Yeah, that was great, you know, but who I became, it's like more of a spiritual thing, our identity, okay? My productivity or your productivity, or maybe this woman that we're talking about, right? Her ability to hold everything together for everyone else. And when that job slowed down, when finances got tight, when life shifted again, she felt worthless, confused, empty, and directionless. You might say, I don't know who I am without a man, a job, a role to play. But here's the truth. You don't lose your identity. You can lose the illusions that you build around it. Does that make sense? The body, okay? Your fit body. Things can happen. All right? It happened to me. Like years ago, 20 plus years ago, I was overweight and I was pregnant, okay? And I wasn't eating right. But I had this episode where I had to go to the hospital. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I I ended up going to the hospital. I have a high pain tolerance. So I go to the hospital finally because I didn't know if I was in labor or what. I was 7 months pregnant at this point. And the doctor said, you have to have your gallbladder removed. And I was like, what? But you can't do it when you're pregnant. So when you have your baby, come back and we'll, schedule your, to have it removed. And I just was like, well, what causes the problem? What causes the gallbladder to be an issue? And they said gallstones, and it's, you get gallstones and they're caused by poor eating habits, basically. Bad food, processed food, all those things, right? Well, I thought, well, I'll just change the diet and I'm not going back in. I didn't have any issues. And then suddenly I start doing the carnivore. Now, I'm not saying that carnivore is going to do this, but I increased my fat in a big way. Well, needless to say, I had to have my gallbladder out of the blue after being fit and everything. Well, guess what I learned is that those gallstones were still there. Gallstones can stay in your body or they can form for like decades. So I was lucky. All those years, I just got lucky not needing to have it removed. And then all of a sudden, boom. Okay. Well, then I was in a lot of pain after. I mean, it's not a crazy surgery. It's pretty in and out. But when they load your body up with this gas for the type of surgery they have, that gas is moving through your body and it gets in your muscles, your bloodstream. It just really changed everything for me. Like I couldn't do a push-up. I had a hard time blow drying my hair. Like it was so crazy. And I was fit going in. So for me, I felt like, oh my gosh, what if I lose or gain all my weight? What if all these things I was attaching my identity to, I have to be fit. The point is that I'm making is that things can change quickly. We don't know. And we don't know when we're going to go. So we don't want to, I think that you should strive to be healthy and create that lifestyle. But that's not your identity. Your identity is much more than that, okay? It's a spiritual thing. And I wanted you to kind of understand that because that happened to me. I was like, what if I can't work out again? What if I can't, I was attaching, people are not going to see my value if I can't be fit, and it's not about that, okay? It's about who we become through challenges and all these things, what life experiences teaches us, okay? What it builds in us. So when you, sometimes it's the illusion that we build around what we think our true identity is, okay? And usually it's worldly stuff, a man, a car, a status, things like that. But our real identity was untouched. It just hadn't met her yet, this pretend girl that we're talking about. And the woman she became, when she was faced with resistance, that was her. Not the version molded by expectations, culture, religion, or survival mode. All right, ladies? That's what this episode is about. Ooh, hi. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I lost myself for a second.
Welcome to the Tina Parker Show, where we burn the bullshit, speak the truth, and build brands that break chains. I'm Tina Parker, spiritual badass, truth teller, and the woman who turns pain into purpose. If you're ready to lead with fire, heal out loud, and drop the damn mic, you're home.
All right. How do I get this over here? That is weird. Hold on. You guys, did I just lose you completely? Hopefully we're still live. This is the weirdest thing. Okay, hold on. I just had this weird little glitch on the computer happen. Woo! We'll get there. It is our last day. Not forever, just of this hill elevated challenge, right? I'm just bringing y'all back up. Just be patient here. Patience. Don't have patience, but then, when things don't happen right away, then you got to just be like, someone else is in charge. Someone else is in charge. Okay, we're back. So, I want you to know the truth about identity. Identity does not come from who left you, who loved you, who rejected you, who ignored you, what church taught you, what culture said. Your mistakes, your past, your trauma, your body, achievements, your roles, those are all assignments. They are not our identity, right? I think a lot of people don't understand that. Your true identity is spiritual, and it's much simpler than people realize. Your identity is a daughter of Yahweh, uniquely handcrafted on purpose. You are a unique, there's not anyone else like you. You are powerful. You have a piece of Yahweh in you. Okay, it's not random, it's not replaceable, it's not accidental, not defined by what left you, not limited by who couldn't see you. Yahweh's identity for you is unique, powerful, intentional, uncopyable, eternal, rooted in design and not circumstance. And by the way, if someone copies you, you know, it's think of it like an incredible flattering opportunity. Okay, be flattered because they liked what you did. Okay, he formed your identity before the world ever saw your face. He wrote your essence before anyone else wrote opinions. He gave you gifts, fire, discernment, ideas, resilience, creativity, and intuition that no one else can replace or replicate. Identity is not built by the world. Identity is revealed by God, Yahweh, the Creator. But you only see that identity when you face resistance. It's true. Identity through resistance. Most people think their identity is who they are after they recover from something. That's resilience. But your real identity is who you are in the resistance, the tension, the pressure, the discomfort, the don't quit moments, the days that you show up when your feelings don't match your faith. Resistance exposes your truth. When you're ghosted, who do you become? When doors close, who do you become? When your body hurts, who do you become? When finances tighten, who do you become? When you doubt yourself, who do you become? When no one claps, who do you become? Identity is the voice you choose in resistance. Identity is the woman you meet in the pressure. Identity is the version of you that surfaces when everything temporary falls away. Resistance doesn't break you, it reveals you. That's why the 30-day challenge is so incredible. Okay? It's good to do things like that. We learn so much from the work that we put into, whether it's building a business, whether it's building your body, whether it's losing something, a marriage, a man, when your children leave. So the 30-day challenge is physical proof of identity, okay? You didn't go from modified push-ups to full military push-ups. That was me, okay? 15 pounds to 35-pound squats, soreness to strength, confusion to clarity. You discovered an identity that always has been there. You're a woman who can push through anything. In fitness, in faith, in finances, and in life. You discovered resistance is your gift. Discipline is your language. Identity is your foundation. Faith is your fuel. Fire is your birthright. Wealth is your calling. Your body is your temple. Your decisions are your destiny. Your body transformation wasn't the reward. It was the confirmation. Why do women lose identity? Like the attachment. Women typically attach identity to a man, a role, a job, a church, a title, a family, a body, a business. Right now, probably social media, likes, followers, okay? A survival pattern, a habit, an expectation, a reputation. And when that thing leaves or shifts or changes, they feel empty. But here's the truth. If something can be taken from you, it was never your identity. Identity is the part that that nobody can touch, change, break, or define. Identity is the part Yahweh wrote. Here's the spiritual side of it, okay? The spiritual identity. Who God designed you to be, your divine essence, your calling, your gifts, your soul, habits you choose, thoughts you repeat, behaviors you practice, discipline you embody, self-trust you rebuild. We can lose trust in ourselves. And so that's why these challenges and different things that you go through, how you come out on the other side, that's how you rebuild trust with yourself. The resistance identity, who you become when life applies pressure. That's how you get diamonds, right? Give me the pressure. The woman you discover when you stop quitting. Their 3 pieces create your hybrid identity. Okay, here's the declaration. Speak this slowly, okay, to yourself. I am not who life said I was. I am not who they expected. I am not what I lost. I am not what I feared. I am who Yahweh designed. Powerful, uncopyable, and chosen. And through resistance, I met the woman I really am. If you are a woman that loved this message, learned something out of it, put a comment, connect with me. I love meeting new people. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this with someone that needs to hear it. Okay? Women need to hear this message because, especially right now, so many women are attaching themselves to men, to likes, to followers, to their reputation, through a job. And if that gets taken away, which a lot of people are experiencing a big shift, if you lose anything, then, and you attach your whole identity to that, you're lost. So you have to know that you are so much more. You're not those things. Anything that can be taken away, that's not you. All right? I love that I did this challenge. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't do it, you can go from the beginning on my @RealTinaParker Instagram, and you can find, I posted each one, each day, each little message to the day, and it will help you along. And if you need anything from me, just comment. Thanks for joining.